to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On this week's episode, Aubrey's just gonna welcome me back and let me come back to the podcast because he kicked me out for a week, and then we'll talk. Just gonna talk about some of our games, and kind of maybe the state of the meta, and go from there. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Aubrey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, after performing my violent takeover of the podcast for exactly 1 week and,
Exactly.
revolution. Things are going good. The league's in full swing. Got my third game in against Silver Lining. Well, I say the league's going well. I'm having fun, but don't look at my win-loss record in this league because I'm getting my teeth kicked in this time around. Apparently I am not good at Mando on Mando violence, although to be fair, I do keep playing like a slightly different list each time because like we talked about last week on the episode about Mandos, I wanted to kind of try like, is Maul really as bad as Adepticon numbers made it seem? Can you try Cad Bane and Shock T with Mandos? Does it work well? Should you just be playing Armor Mando, Oops All Mandos all the way down, or is there other stuff you should be doing? So I mean, I am doing the thing that I would sometimes do in Magic, where I would like change from week to week to week, and then I'd be like, Todd, why am I losing? Well, maybe because I keep changing my list every single week, and I'm not getting and I'm not getting reps in. But I mean, I am mostly playing like the armor box basically, although like occasionally I'll do like Bow and Gar Saxon instead of like Paz and Bow. I haven't. Now that I think about it, Todd, I haven't actually tried Paz and Gar Saxon. I should try that. See, yeah. Well,
I love how you literally like talked yourself in a circle right there about I need to play the same stuff. Oh, let me try something different. You literally went full circle there. That was fantastic. In like
yeah.
in like in like less than 30 seconds too. Like that was fantastic. But yeah, no, it's to be fair, like I've played completely different lists in every game that I've played in the league. I think for me it was more along the lines of I'm using the league just to kind of play different stuff. I actually played Mother Maul the other day instead.
Oh,
Yeah, for
how did
my third league, it went good. It was
how
good. It
was
was very
Mother
bloody.
Mall?
It was very bloody. It was fun though. It was fun, but yeah, very very bloody. Very just destroy everything, shoot everything, kill everything. You know what Maul does, and Mom with her revenge triggers and stuff. It's like so it was, but no, it was definitely a fun game for my last game. So like you had you played against Silver Lining in your last game?
Yeah, so my last league game we played it I mean it wasn't a mirror, but it was a Shock TV Shock T fight, which was kind of funny. He was playing Darth Vader, Kiadi Mundi, let's see, it was the Kiadi Mundi box, so like Shock T and Padawans, and Vader with OB2 or Vader 1, OB2, and ARF, so about what you'd expect. Very
Very meta
I think
list.
yeah, I think it's safe to say we could call that's just the meta list. And the game started off with me going first, Shakti going up and taking a point, and Vader coming up and immediately murdering her, like on the spot.
Mm.
Done. Like, and like no, I don't think I did go first because I had to force, because I couldn't attack with her, I had to force repulse somebody off the point because we were on Never Tell Me, and the one that in the middle that was on was actually the one that's closer to him,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had to move her up, take cover, and then force repulse to like take the point. But then like Vader went, nah, that's my point. Nope, all done. And that's kind of how it went because my list was Armor Box, and then like we talked about last week, Cad Bane, Shock T, and Super Commandos. And the problem is that I was trying to play an aggro list against Daddy Vader aggro list. So who's gonna out aggro whom, Todd?
It's
How do you
gonna be
think that
Vader,
went?
yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be
Yeah.
Vader beating the crap out of you every day, all day. So
A- and don't get me wrong, by the end of the game, we both had 6 wounds. But I mean, for starters, like Silver Lining, he keeps saying he's a new player, but he has a lot of experience from like other like Games
Yeah, he's a
Workshop.
big
And
40K player, so it's like
yeah,
you have the miniature mentality already.
yeah. So like he played very well. So I'm not trying to say like he didn't also play the list well. Like he piloted it very well, made good decisions. But like it, what I learned from that game is that, well, one, Cad Bane needs a lot of reps to get right, and this was like probably like my first or second time playing him. Like I've played a ton of the bounty hunters. I love the bounty hunters as a unit still, even now, but I don't think I've ever played with Aura Singh, and I can't remember if I played with Cad Bane before or not. Like that's how much experience I have with that box outside of the bounty hunters. But like even my Cad, like he moved up, immediately got wounded. He got 2 wounds by the end of the game. So like again, threat identification. Silver Lining went, who doesn't benefit from Armorer's Force Economy? Shakti and Cad Bane. Why don't I immediately take their heads off with my aggro list? So like I never got to use Cad Bane's what is it? Why don't you step aside? Or I don't
Yeah.
remember the name of it. The one where he does like the plink damage. Because the whole goal of my list was I was gonna soften everybody up with the
Oh, you're talking about
Mandos.
no one gets between me and my job.
That one, yeah. No one
Yeah.
gets between me and my job. Uh, the plan was to soften everybody up with the Mandos and then finish them off with Cad Bane, right? That part of the plan didn't have the Mandos basically just carried themselves while Cad Bane and Shakti were hanging on by a thread. Like they got their heads taken off like turn 2 and 3,
Hmm.
I think, and we're just down for the count. And yeah, I'm not. Uh, I think I still believe that the list has legs, except maybe against another aggro list. So maybe that's something to think about. But you need way more reps to make it work. Like you've got to be careful with your positioning and the order you go with things, and it just it's not like Oops All Mandos where pretty much you go, oh, I have a Mando, I'm gonna go with a Mando. Oh, I have a Mando, I'm gonna go push somebody. Like the Mandos just kind of synergize with each other. Whereas this one, to make it work, you're gonna need to work on it a little more.
Yeah, I can see that because I actually played Cad Bane last night in a game, and I don't think he's the type that would be like you would lean into the Mandos, like the armors synergies very much with him because it's just he's in some ways counterproductive to what the Mandos are doing because you can't utilize his thing because you don't mind getting wounded with the Mandalorians where with him you're wanting to do the wounding. So I think there's like a little bit of there's a little bit of conflict I think in like how he wants to play versus how they want to play. Because yeah, I mean, like I said, I played him. Man, I will say one thing: like Aura Singh for me was like an MVP last night, which is like a weird thing to say in my game.
Wait,
So
wait,
like,
what? Wait, tell me about this. What do you mean Aura Sig was the MVP of your game?
so I had her all the way in the back. I was able to sit there and do an attack, hit and run move, which basically got her to the all the way to the front to the back point, which was completely unhit. So I did an attack. Um, with her, and then she has an ability called Hit and Run, where you can pay a force, and after you do an attack as part of a combat action, you can reposition, and then I do another move. So basically, you're doing 2 moves and an attack with her.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
one of
no,
the
all right.
other one of the other things you can do with her, which is pretty interesting, is like you can attack, and then you can do double the contract, double the payout, which allows her to do another 5 dice attack. Which if you leave somebody on one, she only needs one success to sit there and do that, which in turn triggers 2 force refresh from Cad Bane. So like you could in turn and actually like refresh 4 force with her during an attack, which is because you can attack then attack again, and she also has it's pretty far down, but she has a climb or reposition on her tree as well. So she has a lot of movement, which is pretty interesting if you like really kind of lean into like her I'm gonna jump all over the field type of a thing, and she doesn't really kill anything, but she moves around a lot, and I think that was kind of like what I leaned into playing with her, and she did a lot of work with her moving around and her movement shenanigans.
Wow. Okay. So I do appreciate, and I'm possibly jumping us a little far ahead, so I'm gonna talk more about this in a sec. But it's interesting to me that a bunch of people are like trying to get their one last hurrah with like older units before the rebalance hits. Like instead of people, like you would think people would wait and play with them later, but no, like Chris is playing Inquisitors already just to get a feel for how they currently play, and like you're playing with Aura Sing, and even I know we talked about it being a meta list, but even Silver Lining was like, yeah, I really want to like he's like I haven't really gotten to play with Vader 1 very much, and I know that they're probably going to be tweaking him, and he's like, so I brought this tonight not cuz like I wanted to be sweaty and like fight. He's like, I just wanted to play with Vader 1 in his current form before whatever happens.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I mean, or maybe I'll make this a question, Todd. I still feel like Shatterpoint does a good job of, okay, maybe except the 501st. The worst model in the game is not that like astronomically far off from the best, ignoring 501st because I don't that model's kind of unplayable. But
Clones are
on
just
average,
overly squishy, I think was that. But I mean, yeah, that's the one thing that I would say is that there is I think people, especially when you listen to the talking heads on podcasts like this, where like we're gonna sit there and talk about the best thing to do because no one's gonna want to hear about the average thing to do. I mean, it's just true. I mean, like I'm gonna sit there and go, well, they're not that bad. It's like people want to know what the best thing to play is, and that's what they're looking to talk about. And there's so when all you're doing is talking about and listening to the best thing to do, you forget about all the other stuff that's out there. And I mean, like I said, I mean, Aura Singh has some really fun play lines with her. It's just that I think she's a 5 cost that you don't really have a lot of places to play her. So people are just like, nah, I'm not going to do it. I mean, so I think that's kind of one of those things where we lose that focus on the fun things to do in the game, and because we're so focused on trying to do all of the best thing to do, because you don't really like losing. you know
oh,
you,
well, well, right. I'm currently like 0-3 in the league, and I'm like, okay, but also like my goal at the league was I'm trying to really settle on what I think is the best version of Mando's, and I feel like I can't say that if I just go, well, it's probably Armor Maul or it's probably Armor Mando, and I'm just gonna play that for 6 weeks and not try anything else, and I'm gonna be like, this is probably fine. Like, no, like this isn't a tournament. I'm having fun, and like I said, I hadn't gotten Cad Bane. I'm almost certain that I have not put Cad Bane on a table before, and it was fun just to like try and figure out his kit and figure out what the best things to do, and like Shakti, I just assembled her this week. Like she's still gray plastic. Like she's not even stuck to her base. I didn't have time to put her on her base, so I just took the little blue stuff and shoved her on her base. And I'm like, all right, it's Shakti, let's go.
I mean,
So
I've done that before. I mean, like shoot, Matt Booker's done that before. I've like played matches with him where he's like never where he doesn't have them attached and stuff like that. So it's yeah, that's perfectly normal. But yeah, no, it's interesting to kind of like see how people are playing. Some people like all they want to do is play Mandalorians, especially on our side of town for our league, where everyone just like wants to play Mandalorians. Whereas like for me, I'm like I'm gonna play. I just wanted to play. I'm gonna play fun stuff. I mean, like because we are gonna have an end of season league tournament. Which we already have 13 players signed up for. I just happened to be looking at that. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's one of those where it's fun times, man. I mean, I think people are going to play what they like, what they don't, and I kind of chalk it up to, well, I'm just like playing casual games at this point in time. I'm not really trying to win, like I would in a tournament or something like that. So just go and have fun playing the games, and like I said, we have a lot of new players, so I'm really not trying to play the meta stuff down their throat as and everything along those lines.
What? Well, right. Okay. Let's be real for a minute, Todd. If I wanted to win games, I should just be playing Iden right now. Like
Right.
like like let's be real. Like I hate to say it, but elephant in the room, everybody. Why was Aiden so represented at Adepticon? I wonder why. Because she could shoot the head off of just about anything in the game without too much effort. Like they and then it's kind of like your flavor of what else you like. Because like then like the next best thing is probably like either specters, or you could argue depending on like the maps and things, the Mandos, or uh Cam Vader. Like we can
Mm.
identify like the top four or so strategies that like, okay, if you're gonna go to a tournament and you're gonna try and win, ding 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 ding, pick one of these four, move on. Like there you go,
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Like
and
okay.
it's funny because I played in the tournament on May the 4th, and that's literally what I did. Is I brought Iden. You know, I brought Moff Iden. I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired of getting beat up by Mandos. I'm gonna bring the best thing. Granted, I went to the tournament on the opposite side of town, and there was like hardly any Mandalorians there, which was even funnier because it was like I like kind of teched for something that was didn't really show up
was
that much.
wasn't represented. Well,
Right.
is it really teching if you bring Iden?
Yeah.
You're just trying to shoot things with Iden. Like let's be real. And I'm not, and this is me not saying that you can't win with other things. Like I also got my teeth kicked in by the purest of Christophers uh with Grand Inquisitor. Like I mean, it was a really fun game. Don't get me wrong. It actually was closer than I expected. But my point is, yes, you can win with other things, but it's kind of like what I'm saying with like this Cad Bane armor list. Like I probably could have won with it. Like if I had played a little tighter, or the order deck had gone a little different, or like dice had broken one way or the other. Sure, but it would have been a lot easier of a game if I had just played like Armor Mando or Armor Maul. Like it
Yeah.
would have just been easier, and not just because I have more reps and I know those characters better, but like they they work better. They work better with the list. Like there's something to be said for making a list work right by using the most efficient options. Like nobody plays a 3 mana counter spell in Magic if a 2 mana counter spell exists. Like
Yeah.
that's that's that's
Exactly.
not what it's not what you do.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think that's kind of it. And I mean, but you really want to look at playing what's the best thing to do if you're if and that's kind of like what happens in every game. I mean, people are going to gravitate to the best things because if you're going to spend 2 hours playing a game, you don't want to play the worst thing and just get your teeth kicked in all the time. I mean, granted, there is something to be said for, playing what you like best, and everything along those lines. But there's going to be a lot of people that, they're going to play the best thing because they don't want to spend 2 hours losing, you know?
Well, and I mean, there is also just silliness. So, like, I didn't jump on the Mando bandwagon. I think I might have talked about this last week. I didn't jump on the Mando bandwagon because I'm like, oh, I love Mandos more than anything else. Although I really do. Like the Republic Commando series, I say over and over, cemented my love of the Mandalorians and like the Mandalorian story before we even got the Mandalorian TV show, which is even more over the top. Um, but like I was playing Spectres all the time, and I needed another list for a premiere list. Like I was only really good with Spectres, and that doesn't work in a premiere format. And so I'm like, I need to practice with the other thing. And out of everything that I had options, I don't play Empire. It's just not. I'm not interested in it. And I wasn't interested in Republic. Like this was before. Like I made this decision before we had like Kiadi Mundi and Kit Fisto. And although I'll be honest, sorry, digression. Todd, why is Kit Fisto and Kiadi Mundi the face of the Republic right now? Okay, Kit Fisto's a cool guy. Don't get me wrong. Sorry, not Kit Fisto. Mr. Conehead himself, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees, is leading the Republic?
Yeah, keep in mind we have an update coming that will probably change this very dramatically. But yes, I mean, so with most games, I mean, any game, there's a thing called power creep. Power creep is real. Things get better as they go. That's why we have balances and stuff like that. That's why AMG does what they do with the balancing of the games, and all the other games out there do that. But yeah, it's a little awkward that the best thing to do is Kiadi Mundi.
Right, right. So my point is like, and I know people ask, they're like, "Oh, you were big on Republic, and then you switched off, and like, are you gonna go back?" And I was like, "Well, it's kind of gonna depend if I get to play with like Anakin and Obi-Wan. Like, I want to do Annie Obi things, but that doesn't quite like I don't like losing either, and it's not the most efficient thing to be doing right now,
No.
which is fine. So then I ended up on Mando's, but to get back to my story, but I needed reps with them. I hadn't actually played with like I mean I played with Mandos like in the early days when like we had just the core set and a couple of
Mm.
boxes like what is it, Ahsoka Mall. Ahsoka Mall was like an early
Yeah.
Mando. Like I liked playing the Mandos, but I hadn't played with them like since the game came out. So I needed reps, and then I roll up to the league and I'm like, "Oh, hello, fellow Mandalorians. This is the way." Like everyone apparently made the same decision I did at the same time, but probably for different reasons. But I'm like, do I go back to Spectres? And I'm like, no, I need practice with my other half of my list. So here we are.
Yeah, no, I mean it's wild like how many Mandalorian players I like we just had a lot of people that were new to the game and of course wanted to play the Mandalorian and play they like that was all they want to do is just play them. So it's like I get it. Hey, it happens. It's one of those things that comes about. I mean, but yeah, I mean it's funny. Like I think looking at the event that I played on the May 4th, there was only two people that brought the armor. So like an Oops All Mandos list was like there was only like two people that really brought that. Like so it was interesting that like that just didn't happen over there. And there was I think six no, there's more than 16 players. There was I want to say that there was like 18 players that played in that. So it's I mean there was a lot of players. It
Was it
was
wasn't it I think it was wasn't it
it
19
was
because
19. Yeah.
you were gonna have 20 and then somebody got sick and they had
Yeah.
to bow out because
So it
yeah,
was
no, that
19.
that event looked super, that looked like a lot of fun. I was too busy with the kiddos at the library. I have to say I don't think I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast last week, but whatever. If I'm repeating myself, so be it. I didn't tell you, Todd. You know what? I had like 20 something kids show up at the library for Star Wars Day, and there was exactly one boy.
It
I
was all
had
girls.
I had 20 little girls running around with foam pool noodle lightsabers, like beating on balloons and doing all of the Jedi, like all the Jedi activities at the library. So like anecdotally, I'm like apparently Star Wars is for everyone. Just so you know, just so you know.
Yep. That's awesome.
So I had fun on May the 3rd slash May the 4th, whatever
Star
we're
Wars Day weekend.
Star Wars Day weekend. So I had a good time with all of that. But
Nice.
um, let's see any other. I'm trying to think. What did you have any other games you wanted to
Well,
talk
I
about?
had the league. I mean, the thing with the league, looking at that, it was funny. So I went 3-0, which is like a cheating 3-0 because I had the first round bye. Um, which is funny because like the first round bye, I decided there's another store. There's a Mox Boarding House, like about a 15-minute drive ish from the store that I was at. So I drove all the way to Mox Boarding House on my buy round because they were having a 50% off sale on boxes. So I went all the way over there because I don't have the Spectre boxes. So I drove all the way over there, picked up the Spectre boxes and the Han boxes. I just don't play Rebels. So I was like, you know what? I'll go pick them up. So I was like, I ended up getting like 3 boxes for $80, which was really cool. Picked those up, came back. I played 2 games. I played against Three-Way. He played like a separatist list. It was but it was Oops All Droids, but he played it with Grievous and Cad Bane, which was really interesting. So with
Okay, yeah,
by
yeah.
doing Cad Bane, you can play Kalani
The-
with the B2s. So it helps you out. It helps you out to be able to play like better droids, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. And that was a close one. That was a really close game. It ended up I was playing so because I had the buy, I was able to play Iden and Moff Gideon for both of my rounds. So like I said, I cheated my way to 3-0 in my opinion, but it still counts. So
It still counts. Still
it still
counts.
counts. So that was a close match. We really like it came down to really just like the last activation. Um, we were going back and forth. Like if I didn't win this time, he was going to win the next activation type of a thing. But that was a fun game. And then I played against Nick Rader in my last round, and he played Krennic with Moff Gideon. So it was like a Moff Gideon off. So like nobody was reserving anybody.
Okay.
It was an interesting list. I think he was still kind of learning like where to put Krennic. Like I think that was there was a lot of Krennic. There was a lot of Cassian Andor. I think like 6 or 7 people played Cassian Andor. Um, so there was a lot of like learning at this event too of people like, oh, I want to try something different. I'm going to see how this plays, type of a thing. So that was so that was interesting. Like he played basically. It was more of a he's the one who was on the podcast before that played like the Princess Leia charming to the last anchor list, and he had Princess
Oh
Leia,
yeah.
he had Solo, he had Moff Gideon before, and then he basically threw in Krennic with the Death Trooper specialist and the Shore Troopers. So it was interesting. It was an interesting list. I think I don't know if Krennic fits there though. Like is one of those things. I think like I don't know if the pairing with Moff Gideon is the right one. Um, I think there's just like that's, but like I said, there was a lot of that going on where people are like playing different things. They were like trying to try out like the new stuff because like Krennic and Cassian just dropped. You still had like Kit Fisto still pretty new, so there was a lot of the new stuff getting played, which was really cool. Like on a side note, I think Cassian's that one that once he gets figured out is gonna kind of like climb up the meta a little bit. He's like another revenge piece to the rebels. I think he's going to be really good. I just think the powers that be the people that are better at this game than me like need to put the reps in and figure him out. And once they do, I think he's going to be pretty dangerous. I think.
Yeah, that's the early reports coming in that I'm hearing. I know our friend Jerry. I never know what to call you. I know you're Jared, but it's Jerry Bowinkle, but you're not a Jerry. Whatever. Hi, friend. Uh, he was talking very early. He's like, Cassian's going to be a monster, and we're like, okay, like Cassian Andor, like the spy from the show that he ends up. Spoilers, he ends up dying at the end. I'm like, okay, all right.
Right.
uh, I was like, all right, but then yeah, more and more like stories coming out. I mean, that's again, I feel like I'm like a month behind everyone because that's one of the lists I want to try. I was debating on trying that during the league, but I barely have the box assembled. I haven't actually played PLC's full box, and everybody talks about how great Han and Chewie is. I believe you all. I'm not arguing. I just haven't played with him yet because like I basically assembled that box, got Leia, and threw her into Spectres and never looked back. And so I need to actually play with the rest of that box. And it sounds like Cassian's box works really well with that one, but you all have already figured that out, and I'm like, okay, well, I still want to play it. I'm sorry that you're all getting beat up by Cassian, but I want to do it too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like the fact that like there's the spy synergies with him kind of helps a little bit. So this town's ready to blow. I mean, it's pretty crazy because it's like all of a sudden, like it's weird. Like a struggle gets won, you won't get the momentum for like killing stuff with it, but at the same time, it's like okay, you just do damage. You can just like, especially if he's not wounded, you can just do up to 3 damage. I mean, statistically, you're probably going to do one, but like, well, it's a hit and an expertise. You could probably do two. I think probably two is about where you would like expect that to be. So but still, it's wild. It's like it's a really good. It's a really good ability that just does a little bit of plink damage. That sometimes that's all you need, especially in this game when you have supports that might only do 3 or 4 damage like per turn per activation. I mean, it's like, oh, now all of a sudden that 2 extra damage pushed you through the last damage you needed to kill stuff, and now you have 2 dead units. So it's interesting. I think he's got a lot of play. I think it's just a matter of finding the perfect like match for him, which I think we'll get there pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean, starting a struggle with a bunch of units being down is definitely perfectly acceptable because I think like in my game, and I'm sorry, Silver Lining, if I'm misremembering things. You know, the ADHD baby still rattling around in my skull. But if I remember right, he had just like wounded like one or two of my units like right before the start of Struggle 3, so that when like the flop went, like even though I could have, in theory, taken multiple objectives. I couldn't because my guys were just down.
Mm.
Like there was one objective that I should have just been able to take, but nope. Like half my team if I'm remembering right, I believe half of my squads were down at the start of Struggle 3, and like what are you gonna do? Like that's you don't take objectives. That's what you do, and then you lose the game. So I mean, getting to use Cassian's ability and like knock a couple people down. Okay, Todd, you got me excited here. You got me. Wait, Todd, we haven't talked. Have you watched any of Andor season 2?
I have not. I've like life's been so crazy. It's like it's one of those where
Fair, fair.
yeah, like it's like I would want to watch that. I also need to make sure that my wife doesn't want to sit down and watch it because if my wife wants to sit down and watch it too, it's going to take a while. Like us getting the
Well,
time to sit down and watch a TV show together does not always happen.
well, doesn't she and Parent have the same Star Wars problem where it puts them to sleep for some reason? Like you get like
Yeah.
an episode and she goes. I mean, don't get me wrong, y'all are busy. I understand why she's tired. Well, so is Parrot. Those of you who don't have children, it's exhausting and it takes so much time. I know, shocker of the century. Like you
Right.
didn't know that before I told you, but this is what happened. Hey, even I on episode what was it? Episode six or seven? I don't know. Even I did it. I passed out during Andor. Talia like she was like, Aubrey, you've been really quiet for oh, because we watched it all together, and she's like, you know what she did? She let me sleep in the chair, and she watched the whole episode without me. And I'm like,
That's
Talia,
hilarious. That is
Talia.
absolutely hilarious.
So it doesn't even matter how interested you are in it, because I all I will say, Todd, is I can't believe they wrote that show 2 years because it's usually what 2 years is like a production cycle probably or whatever. I can't believe they wrote that show 2 years ago. That's all I gotta say. Spoiler free. Wow, it is. I can't believe we're only getting 2 seasons. How about that? It is like, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Well, I'm excited. I am looking forward to getting in, finally watching it. So yeah, for sure. Well, I think one of the things, I mean, because it is so. This is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, even though we're already a half hour in. Maybe not a shorter
Shorter
episode
ish.
because it is Mother's Day. My wife actually went up to our cabin for the weekend, and just to get away, like which is normal for my wife on Mother's Day to get away from everyone. Like normally, if she's not at like at our cabin, she normally like goes out paddleboarding down the river. Without any of the children, she just goes with one of her friends. That's her Mother's Day is get me away from all of the kids that I spend all of my time with, which I 100% understand. So, but she's since it is Mother's Day, we're probably gonna get off soon and start doing those tasks to sit there and make them happy for their day. So for all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day.
Yes, yes. Happy Mother's Day, and yes, her gift is to not have to be a mother for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, Talia. Currently, well, okay, she got herself involved because she's very particular and she wanted a certain food item, but the kids were supposed to make her breakfast and said it was like a group effort over there apparently, and then because they're doing that while we're recording, and then we're gonna go to the movies because like Talia's favorite thing is to go to the movies, but also guess what she doesn't have to do for like the length of the movie?
Be a
Interact
parent.
with anyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
interact with anyone. She gets to just sit and chill. We're good. So that'll be nice. And we're going with her dad's coming along too because her mom's this still happens even when your children are in their 40s. Her mom is going with her best friend to Italy and Greece and left I think, well, I guess technically
So her
yesterday, but
Mother's Day
whatever.
present was getting away from her kids too. Yeah, got it. Nice.
Yep, yep. So he's all by his onesie, and he's like, "Well, I'll come along to the movies with you. Why not? We'll celebrate mothers. We'll celebrate my kid being a mom instead." So,
That is very
yeah.
on brand for her dad. That I will say that that's kind of like I'll invite myself to go watch a movie with you. Yeah, I can see that. Uh, but yeah, so I mean, I think one of the things that we wanted to talk about outside of our games and stuff like that was a lot of people are talking about how kind of the games hit a lull, I guess, waiting for the update because the update was announced in what March at the end of March at Adepticon. We're now like 6 weeks later, so a lot of people just kind of like stopped, like like trying to innovate lists, and everything along those lines because they know like there's a pretty dramatic change coming probably within the next week or two. Um, that we know of. So I mean, because like they did say May, and we would estimate. I think on one of the other podcasts or interviews, they said something like early May, which is early May is only a couple more days from the time of this recording. But
I'm pretty
things
sure
happen.
May. No, 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 no. It's May 11th. Early May is done. We are one third of the way into May. AMG. The word early no longer applies. We are 4 days away from mid May. AMG. So I'm just helping you out with language. I got an English degree. I got you. Next time, mid May. Mid May, because at this rate, Sheev's gonna be right, and I don't want Sheev to be right. Because what did he say? May 23rd or 21st or something like that. Like that's what his prediction was, and I'm like, no, 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 don't let Sheev be right.
Yeah, in all of the things that happen, I'm sure that like they probably had an intent to like release this a lot earlier than they did, and life just gets in the way, business gets in the way, type of a thing. I mean, they had. I remember. It's so funny watching all of the comments when like AMG makes a post that's not the update, especially because they were like all last week were like just pounding out all sorts of Legion stuff, and people in the comments are just like, "When's the update?" and like putting like pictures of skeletons of them waiting for the freaking updates. I'm like, it's okay, guys. I know you're excited and wanting this, but it'll be there. You'll get it eventually. But it's interesting that like there's kind of like a drop off in wanting to play the game because people are just waiting for this update to happen. And I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe it's just us coming from like the Magic side of things where we're used to like a format getting stale simply because you're waiting for a rotation to happen like in standard Magic, or there's just something super powerful in regular Magic that is just so like just warps the entire format, and you just have to wait until somebody at WotC decides to ban a card that makes it, and they might wait 3 months to do it, and you're just in there going, okay, this sucks playing this game because this everyone's playing this super meta deck type of a thing. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, going into the Magic thing, I just like explaining how for those of you who don't play card games, how WotC did things. Um, so traditionally, WotC released sets about like every 3 months or so. Although they kind of have shaken that up in recent years. But traditionally, they didn't release a new set like every 5 minutes like they've been doing. And so you kind of had an idea of every few months you were going to get a fresh injection into the format. But then over the summer, and especially towards the end of summer, there was always a thing like the standard rotation where a new set would be coming in and a bunch of old sets all at once would be going out and would no longer be legal in that format. And so a lot of times people would like and they would preview a lot of times they would preview the new set well enough in advance that people would be like they're just excited and they want to see the new set, and it's like, well, we still have like a month or two, guys. Like you still have another format, like you still have this format to play. But a lot of times Magic players would be like, oh, it's solved, I don't want to play it anymore. And so like Wizards of the Coast has come up with other ways of like keeping it fresh and making it interesting. I don't want to bore you with like the history of it, but like and I don't know if it's just me and like I don't get to play as much as other gamers. And I mean, got to play Magic way more because it was just easier to set up games in time. And games of Magic are shorter. Like you could play one game of Magic in 15, 20 minutes, whereas Shatterpoint is not like that. So it's a little different to get practice in throughout the week for me at least. But I I guess my mindset is I think it's really important to practice fundamentals. And and this is kind of a thing and I don't know what the attitude or how I can and get this across in a way that doesn't sound like I'm like lecturing at you people, but but
You
like my
people, oh my goodness, Aubrey.
yeah. Well, because literally, you see people like they're playing MCP and like Games Workshop and everything. They're like, I'm just gonna wait for the update. Like they've just like stopped playing Shatterpoint. They're like playing board games. They're like, I'll
Yep.
come back to you in a month, and I'm like, what? Because so like every once in a while in my sword class, my teacher will force us for like 40 minutes, and the class is only an hour, so like 2/3 of the class, he will just make us sit in different stances and do like the same attack over and over and over until you're like, please, my knees are gonna give out if we don't move from this stance. But he does that because like you need to make sure that you have the fundamentals down so much so that they're automatic, that
Hmm.
you don't have to think about them. And to bring that over to Shatterpoint, there have been lots of times where I've just straight up deployed wrong. Like I've had the wrong team on the wrong side, or I deployed like I'm on shifting priorities, but we're playing like Sabotage Showdown, or well, maybe Sabotage. We're playing like Never Tell Me the Odds, and I shouldn't have deployed like that. And and this is just because I I will freely admit I do not get enough reps for the fundamentals of the game to be automatic, for me to just look at the board and go like I'm not doing like Matt and Chris and the dozens of other great players where they're like, yep, I know that there's a 66% chance that that objective and that objective and that objective is going to be on, so 3 turns ago I moved my guys to there and there so that I know when the flop happens I'm already ready to go. Well, how do you get there, Todd? What's the only way for you to get there?
Yeah, to play the game over and over again, like they
To
do. Like,
So when a format is feeling stale, there's like a couple of ways you could approach it. One, you could go for the fun route. You like kind of what we're doing. Like you're trying out Cad Bane and Aura Singh, and like Chris is trying out Grand Inquisitor and company, and like I'm doing different stuff with Mandos, and like that's what I call like the easy mode. Like try to have fun with your game. What did you say earlier, Todd? What is this again?
it's a game. It's supposed to have fun with it. It's a good time.
Right. But for those of you who are like, but while you were sleeping, I was training the sword, and while you were eating, I was training the sword, and while you were with your family, I was training the sword. For those of you with that mentality, I feel like quote unquote stale formats or solved formats, or you're waiting for a rebalance or you're waiting for a card to get banned formats. If you look at it from the attitude of, if nothing else, I can practice my reps.
Hmm.
I can make sure that I know how to deploy. I know how to do on first contact what's going to happen when it table flips in the middle of the game. I am going to work on figuring out like you can even set up scenarios. One of the things that I don't see us do as much, and we would do in Magic, is there would be whole articles dedicated to like a puzzle. So like you would set up a board state, and there would be a path to victory, or even if it's not a path to victory, it would be like what's the most optimal play to make in this scenario right now with the current information that you have. Like here's your 3 cards in your discard pile. You've got 4 cards in your order deck. This card's gonna flip up. What do you do?
Hmm.
And so I guess this is kind of a challenge like even though I know like all right, it is mid-May and we're probably gonna get the rebalance in like a week, and I dear listeners, I meant to do this episode like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but life kept like getting in the way, and we did other stuff. So I meant to talk about this sooner. Like what's gonna happen. Todd's gonna edit this episode. He's gonna upload it, and like the rebalance is gonna happen like the same day, and
Probably.
and then you're all gonna be like, cool, this topic means nothing to me now. Why didn't you do anything else?
Well, no, I think it does mean something. But go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, but the challenge is use this time to focus on bettering your understanding of the game in a broader sense, as opposed to what we usually do, which is there's a lot of focus in these games on list building. What's the best roster? What's the best list? How can I maximize this team? Well, this might not be the time for that. This might be the time for focusing on other goals in your Shatterpoint journey.
Yeah, I mean, the other part is they did state that we're only touching like some of the earlier models. Some of the stuff that may be released in the last 6 months, they're not touching. That stuff's going to be pretty stable, and you could practice with that. But you said something that kind of like triggered a thought. So and I know there's not a lot of crossover between us and MCP, but there's the person who won the world championships at MCP. His name is Brian is DeLuca. Mike DeLuca. I don't know why Brian came to my mind. Mike DeLuca.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but DeLuca like really approaches the game in a very cerebral way, and the rest kind of why I bring this up is like you brought up playing a scenario. He has talked about that because I listen to his podcast quite a bit. He has brought up there's times where he won't play a whole game. He might just set up a scenario and wants to see how the characters that he has or the units that he's bringing interact in the scenarios. I mean, and you could do that. You could be like, oh, you know what? Let's just set up struggle 2 of never tell me the odds on this particular map, and I have these models in these positions. How would I play through this struggle? I mean, so that you can find interesting ways to kind of help you learn and become better at the game instead of just, oh, this is boring, this is solved, I'm just waiting for the update. Well, like I said, like the last probably 10 to 15 releases are not really gonna get touched. I think probably anything before Iden and before probably isn't going to get touched based off of kind of like what the speculation is of what they've said. So there's a lot of like things you can do to sit there and spend your time educating yourself and learning about those models and how they interact and testing with them, waiting for that update to happen, because you're still going to have that same playstyle where, yeah, like the Separatists, the especially the Galactic Republic, are really probably going to have a massive change. But I mean, are we really going to see much of a change outside of Iden in the Empire or anything in the Rebels? Probably not. And the newer stuff that came out in Galactic Republic isn't really going to see much of a touch either. So I think that we're so focused on the new shiny thing that's going to be coming down the road that we forget to look at like what is in front of us and what we can actually, focus on improving on. And I think that's probably something that, that's human nature. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just that's just human nature.
Well, right, but I mean, to quote Yoda, always his life he looked away to the future, to the horizon, never his mind on where he was, what he was doing. Like, come on, guys, you love Star Wars. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know why you're spending all this time listening to us talk about a Star Wars game if you don't love Star Wars. So
Right.
for don't forget there's life lessons to be learned here, and this also makes me think of like, because I know we talk about Magic a lot, but last night I was at a party with Talia, and because she plays pool, like billiards pool. But we're in Arizona, so when I say pool, a lot of times people think I'm talking about like games in a pool, like swimming, and I'm
Okay.
like, no, I mean like pool, like the game pool, whatever. Um,
Billiards for our friends in the UK, not snooker.
yes, yes, yes. And so One of the things that they do a lot, and like, because they were all talking about it, and I'm not great, although they wanted me to play in the tournament, and I actually did better than I expected. So maybe Shatterpoint's helping with my spatial reasoning in other arenas. I don't know, but one of the things they do a lot of the time is they will just set up a shot and then take the shot, and then they'll set it up again and take the shot slightly different, and then set it up again and take the shot slightly different. And that, maybe that sounds mind numbing to some people, but it makes perfect sense to me. Like, they're trying to figure out, what are my options in this particular moment of time, and what is Shatterpoint all about? Moments in time.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, to me, it makes sense. I mean, like that kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying about just setting up a certain scenario that you want to practice into and see how it plays and see how your decision making goes and stuff like that. So I think there's, like I said, there's definitely room for that when things like this, when because there's going to be other times like this where the game gets stale, where the models, especially I think like this coming year, there's the releases, it looks like, are going to be a little light. So there's going to be times where I think the game is not going to be as exciting because you're just not getting as many new models to play with. So I think there's going to be, you're going to have to plan on, okay, how do I keep myself fresh with this game? What are some of the things, like, do you try other units? Do you try a different strategy than you're normally playing? Instead of playing the best thing, maybe you try playing something that got an update that might be a little bit different, that's outside of what your normal play is. Because, like I said, we got a lot of people that play, Mandalorians, or only play Empire, or only play this. You're probably going to get bored if that's the only thing that you play when we're not going to get a lot of releases over this next, 9 months ish or so. Especially, like they've announced, who knows what's going to happen with with all the tariffs and the trade stuff that's happening. How, like, if there's going to be any delays with stuff getting out there. So finding ways to keep yourself engaged with this game, while still with the limited stuff that we have, based off of the uncertainty that we have in the world. I mean, it's really going to be a big thing, because yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of unknowns right now, especially here in the United States. I mean, like, you might, maybe in other parts of the world they might be able to get better, get models faster, but they've usually had troubles with that we're starting to experience, like, all over the world, where they're not getting stuff in a timely manner either. So yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. But it's like, I would encourage people to find ways to keep themselves, kind of motivated to do that. Like, I was getting a little burnt out myself, and it took a break, and then, like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go back and play Mother Mall again, because I had so much fun playing that back in the day. And that's kind of like, rediscovering what you're happy playing. Sometimes, I mean, might be going back to playing something old, or something that you hadn't played since the game launched, or something along those lines.
Yeah, and set up some fun games. Do
Mhm.
some. I know it's not as high power level, but do like some Annie Obi into like Asajj, and I don't know, something else. Like play some fun games. Like, sometimes sometimes we get so focused on, I want to get a rep with my meta list that I'm going to win with, that I'm going to take to the tournament, and sometimes you just gotta reframe. You gotta change it up. Also, AMG, thank you, because I just realized, after having to go look for Cad Bane, I have a lot of minis I still need to paint, so I'm kind of okay that we're not getting a lot of releases.
Yeah,
I need some time to catch up.
exactly. But yeah, I mean, like, and like, that kind of reminds me of, like, one of the people that was at the tournament. Like, his name's Chrono Ranger, and he plays, like, a legitimate all weeks Ewoks list. And, like, he went 1-2 at the tournament, but you know who he won with? All Ewoks, like legitimate Ewoks, like the Ewok boxes. Um, so, and it was funny, man. Like, I walked over. That was his first round game against Justin, who's like a big MCP guy, and, like, I'm like, dude, you're kicking ass with the freaking Ewoks. That's awesome. So, I mean, that's like, you could find ways to sit there and just play something that's unique to you, like unique to your meta, maybe, and finding ways to make that work. So, I don't know. There's all sorts of different things you can do. Granted, like I said, they probably, knowing us, by the time this releases, the update will be out, and, like, they're like, what the hell are these guys talking about anyway? But it is what it is.
Hey, as usual, and as like a summary, take what you can from this and ignore what isn't beneficial to you. You know,
Yeah.
find something that is useful.
Definitely. All right. Well, I guess that covers about everything that we were going to talk about. Did you have any last closing thoughts?
No, I think that's a good spot.
All right, cool. Well, again, I want to say thank you for all of our listeners. You guys are awesome. We always appreciate you guys like stopping in and listening to us for a little while. If you want to support the podcast, the best way to do so is to become a patron. You can do so for as little as $1 a month. We take this time to basically thank all of our patrons. You guys are amazing and definitely keep us going. Help keeps the podcast going for sure. So we appreciate you and everything you guys do for us. Other than that, if you do not want to become a patron, you can always support us by rating and reviewing the podcast on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, you can go ahead and like, subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know what you're thinking there. But other than that, as always, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. I know this is belated, but happy Mother's Day. And as always, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.